Let's stay in the last exercise to see a couple more topics. Well, one of the topics we definitely have to go through are the views. So far, this exercise has been done from one elevation, this elevation 12 feet, and a 3D view. Now, it could have been more convenient sometimes to switch views and model the components in another view, since it's easier to reach, let's say, the final element's position. It is possible on top of the screen to switch between views. You can just scroll through the views if you want. And it's also possible to just pick a level, row, or axis. We just choose that option, double click any row, elevation, or axis, and you'll move to that view or to that axis. Another way would be to go to the view menu, change, and there again we see exactly the same list. Choose the view you want, press OK. It's also possible to create a new view. And that can be done in various ways. It can be done simply by clicking a grid element, like we just did from the little pull-down menu. So grid element, we follow the X, Y, and Z axis, or we go against it. The views also have a depth, and OK, just double click an axis, row, or elevation. And it says, by the way, the old view was deleted, a new one is created. Again, view create. It's also possible to create a main view from an existing view, but for that we'd have to go through the additional views first, so that function will come back to that later. And we can also create a view by picking 2 or 3 points. So for example, here I would like to make, it doesn't make too much sense in this exercise, but let's make one axis first. So if I say OK, the view will be created, but we won't switch to it yet. OK plus change, we will create the view and we'll immediately switch to it. Apply, we will create the view. The box stays open to create another view and another and another until we close the box. Let's, for example, go to OK plus change. So I call this view axis A, and I have to pick bottom left, bottom right, top. I'll just be asked to confirm the default representation settings, extension, scale, and we just press OK. Now a new view has been added to the list. Let's do that again. Create. I'll create a slope view. Doesn't make too much sense in this case, but all right. OK plus change. We go 1, bottom left, bottom right, top. You see I'm not going exactly to the top of the grid. That's not necessary. It's only for a direction anyway. Enter to confirm. OK to confirm the settings. Now, I know this looks a little bit weird. This is simply because we have this slope view through the grid. If we would like to see what this looks like or where we exactly are, we could go to the representation settings, which are here under this icon, and affect the grid, only to quickly switch on a hatching representing where our main view is located. So we can clearly see 1, 2, 3. And this arrow, by the way, indicates in which direction we're viewing. We set up this view with a specific scale. It's always possible to change that scale. So over here, we have various scales to choose from. So if I choose, for example, this scale, Bocad will ask me, pick the view. On which view do you want to apply this scale? Well, this one. enter. The view will become a lot smaller, and in regards to the view, the text looks bigger. The text has not grown, it's just that the view is a lot smaller now, so the text just looks bigger next to it. If I change to another scale, for example this one, pick the view, we see the view has completely blown up, become a lot bigger, but the text has not changed in size. So if you're working on a larger project, it might be useful to change scale just to make the views more readable in case you want to show all kind of designations in the view as well. Another thing, let's perhaps change to row A. Another thing over here is we will first of all have that shading. Let's go to representation settings as well in this view. We have that shading, I can set it to no, apply, and we immediately see the result. And I see we have a solid view. Not the best. Let's change representation. There are various types of representations we can choose from here on top of the screen. They give all kind of different results with, without labels. The colors could be different. All kind of things could be affected by the representation we have here. Say for example we use key plan, double click the view, we have these line or reference lines as representation. When we choose perspective 1, we have this solid kind of view. Plane 1, there the labels suddenly appear. Section D1, different again. And like this we can browse through the various types of representations and apply some of these specific representations. Let's see if I can find one. Or the widget, yes, can also be useful. A partial representation. Feel free to discover some of these representations. When we go back to the representation settings, under the second tab, we can also see an extension in front and behind. So we are looking 2 feet in front of our axis, 2 feet behind our axis. That's the reach of our view, so to speak. If I reduce this to 1/2 inch, we can see only the web of these columns, for example. Simply because the view isn't deep enough anymore to look through the complete structure or the complete profile in itself. So with these values, we can seriously affect what we're seeing, what we're not seeing. We could look through the complete structure in some cases, but in certain other cases, for example, mostly on curved structures, we would work sometimes with a very, very thin, you could almost say it like this, slice of a view to get the best positioning possible. Let's go back to the 2 feet. Okay, and we'll be back to that 2 feet depth. That depth can also be applied from the top of your screen. You could also say 0.5, enter, and then double click the view to apply that depth. It's just that since there's 2 fields, we have to fill in the fields, press enter, then only apply. So sometimes I personally think it's easier to go through the icon. But use whatever you prefer. Then it's also possible sometimes to redefine a view. We'll get there in a further part of this course. Modify designation would be to rename a view. Say for example this RO row A, I would say that would be simply row A. Unfortunately I was in that view, so it closed it. No problem, just call it up again. And still under view, there's a delete function. In case we want to get rid of one of the views, we would, for example, say this sloped view, just bring it over to the right side, or just drag it over to the right side, press OK, and we'll get a confirmation that indeed it has been deleted. That's it for now anyway for the main views.